The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Rob the Great One Lonzo, and joining us now, as he does on Thursdays at 8:40 a.m. to talk Carolina Panther football. He is the host of the Panther Nation podcast. If you're a Big Cat fan, it's the spot to go for all your Carolina news, talk, and opinions. The legendary Rashad Beard joining us on the show. What's up, big dog?
What's going on, guys? Feeling good, man. Everything's great over here.
I'm glad to hear it. Abdul Carter, if he falls to 5, trade up for him, yes or no?
Trade up. I don't know about trade up, but
not 1-2, but like if he falls to 5 with this injury, like you move up 3 spots, I'd give away a couple of late picks for it.
Yeah, I mean, I strongly consider it. I mean, he's talented for sure, and I'm seeing the red flag. I had to put out an alert to teams. Please don't draft him in numbers top 7. Not worth it. So just leave him alone. Let him fall to 8, and I think we would definitely take him. I don't know about trading up, but yeah, I think there's going to be some good talent there at number 8 for sure.
What if somebody 6, 7, maybe somebody sitting around there and they're kind of like you guys, like we want to take the Eagles model, we want to stock up, we want to get a bunch of linemen, build from the middle out, yada yada yada. We're willing to move back because we don't need a D lineman, and we'll take 2/6 to move up 2 spots. You come on, dude, you're in. This guy's a stud.
Yeah. Of course, yeah, it's going to take a little bit more than that, but yeah, if it's 2/6, I would definitely do that in a heartbeat. But yeah, I think it's going to cost a little bit more than that.
All right, Rashad Beard from the Panther Nation podcast joining us here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Do you think that strategy is one Carolina adapts? Like I've said a couple of times, the Eagle strategy, like the Eagle philosophy, I'm taking it now. We're done with the Belichick model. We're all moving to the Sirianni model, the Howie Roseman model. And I've said a couple of times, I don't think there's a team this year in the NFL draft that would benefit more from, and more importantly, is more capable, because you guys need O&D linemen on both sides of the football right now. I don't think there's a team that can more successfully adopt that model than the Carolina Panthers. What is the overall draft strategy for the boys this year?
Man, I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of needs. Like there's not one need. That's the thing about this team and the way it's set up. We got a lot of needs. So we can take what comes to us. There's no need for us to reach and go grab somebody. You could check a lot of boxes all across this draft. This is a very strong defensive draft. So this draft is very strong in places that we are weak. So you got to be patient. Just be patient. If we don't grab an edge rusher in the first round, don't panic. There's plenty of edge rushers in the second or third round. If we don't grab a cornerback in the first round, don't panic. There's going to be a cornerback later. So just sit back, take what's coming to you, and there's going to be some talent that falls. You just like you brought up this morning, Abdul Carter with his injury, and whatever's going to happen with that, what's going to happen is he's likely going to fall to a team like the Eagles or the Chiefs, and the rich will continue to get richer because that's what happens, right? They're sitting back and they're being patient. They're not going to go grab and trade up. Just sit back and be patient. Let's see what happens.
So if I asked you to lay out your draft philosophy, right? If it's hey, just defense, if it's lineman or whatever, if I asked you to kind of like describe the draft philosophy coming into this thing this year, what would you say it is?
BPA. I know it's easy to say it, but just take the best player available according to your board. Obviously, every board is going to look different, but you got to take BPA, man. Just be patient. Be patient. Take the best player on your board and just stack talent. If you can trade back, acquire more picks. But, if there's multiple guys that you're looking at and they're sitting there and you could trade back a couple of spots and still get a guy, then let's trade back. And we've seen that over the past couple of years with the Panthers, albeit it's not quite working out the best with some of the guys that we're picking up. But I do like that approach because we need more opportunities at bat. You need to get as many picks as possible so that you can stack this talent. And again, don't have a lot of guys to re-sign. Obviously, J.C. Horn extension talks are coming up. But the more guys you can get on a rookie deal, the better. And you start to develop them. Like you just mentioned with the Eagles, they have a lot of talent on defense that is starting early, right? And because they're playing on rookie deals, it just makes sense. So, again, draft more cracks at the whip, get more opportunities, trade back if you can, and just be patient, BPA. Very simple.
So my thought on the debate we have every year, Rashad, which is BPA versus need, right? Do you go with BPA or do you go with the best guy at your biggest need in every round? My answer has always been kind of combination of both, right? Like there's no need to go all in on BPA or go all in on board and needs and whatever. You gotta take a crack at both. I think for you guys this year, I am leaning more on the trade back if it's available way, right? Like I'm going with board, and I would lean towards board with need. But I also think stockpiling this year, would you be willing to move back a handful of times? Maybe you only leave this draft with like 4 or 5 players, but you got like 12 or 13 picks in next year's draft. It is a good defensive draft, not a great offensive draft. Would you be willing to leave this draft with like 4 or 5 players, but you are absolutely loaded with picks for next year if that opportunity presents itself?
No, I'm not okay with that. I think we need guys now. You can't continue to wait and delay the Bryce Young window. We're in year 3, right? So you have to start taking advantage. So I'm cool with trading back for multiple picks in this year's draft. The future, okay, if you grab some, that's fine. But 4 or 5 picks in this draft, to me, would not be acceptable. We have 9 right now. And so I would like to see a few more than that, maybe. But again, the opportunity has to be there. I'm not saying trade back for the sake of trading back. If the opportunity presents itself with your board and you have multiple guys that you're looking at, and I'm not saying trade completely out of the rounds, right? Make sure that you're still able to get the guys that you need based on your board, and just continue to stack players. But moving completely out 4 guys in this draft, no, I can't get with that one.
Rashad Beard from the Panther Nation podcast joins us every Thursday at 8:40 here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Have you heard anything, whether it's from Canales, whether it's Morgan? Obviously, the combine underway up in Indianapolis right now. We're starting to see the GMs, the presidents, the coaches starting to get in front of the media, in front of the microphones. You heard anything so far from the combine, or maybe in the last week since we've talked to you, that is triggered anything? Because I've heard a couple of the Canales interviews, heard a couple of the Morgan interviews, and they seem to be playing it relatively close to the vest, which good.
Yeah, I think that it's they're not giving away too much, but you have to look a little bit deeper than what they're telling you, Rob. You gotta look at the actions of the team, and a couple of things that have occurred over the past couple of weeks lend me to think that they're going to be doing some things in this draft. Case in point, Dane Jackson was just released. We're letting Shaq Thompson walk. There's a couple of other guys testing the market, like Tommy Tremble, and then you hear Canales, talk about Tyler Warren, who was the great tight end in this draft. I'm not saying we're going to take Tyler Warren at 8, but I do think we're going to be taking a tight end somewhere in this draft. And with Shaq walking, there's a lot of talk around Jalen Walker right now, and him potentially being the guy. Him being a Carolina guy, all his family being in North Carolina, South Carolina. I think, to me, if you had to make me pick a guy, and that's going to be the Carolina Panthers pick, whether it's 8 or trading back, I think it's probably going to be Jalen Walker right now. Way too early, obviously way, way, way too early. But Jalen Walker seems to be the guy all signs are pointing to right now in my brain.
Believe, Lonzo, correct me if I'm wrong, that's who Mel Kiper Jr. has y'all taking in his mock right now, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah. So it's on the radar, and I don't have any issue with that. Speaking of Shaq, before we kind of get back to draft talk, that's one of those that, like, man, emotionally it sucks. Right? That dude's been a stalwart. He's been a big part of the team. He's been a leader. One of 2 guys left from the last Super Bowl roster. Like, it hurts to watch a guy like Shaq walk. My man's played 6 games in 2 years. He's been busted up. The injury bug is vicious at this point. Sometimes, Rashad, we got to take a kick in the nads to remind us this is the business more than anything else. It sucks, but it was the right call.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely sucks, but it certainly was the right call. I commend Canales and Morgan for making this decision, right? Because it is a tough decision. A guy's been around for the Carolina Panthers for a long time, and he's a leader in that locker room too. He's not just a guy. He is a leader on the defensive side of football, and to let him walk was a tough decision. But ultimately, you have to make those type of decisions to move forward and progress the team. You can't just keep around guys for the sake of keeping around guys. And I said this oftentimes on my channel is, hey, you can't get connected to these guys individually. Like, I like a lot of players on the team. I'm a huge fan of Jalen Coker. But at the end of the day, I got to be okay with them moving on from him because it's a business. It's a business at the end of the day, and you got to move on. You got to do what's best for the team. And again, shout out to Shaq, man, but he's definitely, hater mode. If he goes to one of those teams, will be activated for him. And that's just the name of the game.
Certified hater mode. Certified hater mode coming out. Rashad Beard joining us here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. You mentioned Eddie Pinheiro, Xavier Woods, Tommy Tremble all being allowed to test the market. Is this a cap move decision? Is this a player quality decision? And are there any of those guys that you're kind of hoping maybe they're in the market for him that you want back?
Yeah, that's a great question. Eddie Pinero, I think, is a guy that we can move on from. I think he held out a little bit last year trying to get a new contract. So, I mean, his performance is very mid, and he's an okay kicker. Anything inside the 40, he's okay. But when the game is on the line, sometimes he does tend to fold. But again, Eddie Pinero, I can live with that. We can move on from him. Xavier Woods is another guy that I do like. However, I think we can do better. And I think that's what Dan Morgan is sending the signal to. He's like, hey, guys, you guys are solid, but we can do better. And I think that's what we're trying to do here. Tommy Tremble, I really do like. He's a friend of the show. We had him on the show before. He's a guy that has developed year over year over year. His hands were bricks when he first got here. He's got better and better. And so I do hope he stays around. I think he has some untapped potential that we have yet to tap into. He can carry the football. He did it at Notre Dame, fullback, QB sneaks, things like that. He can do that, those type of things. And we just never got around to it. So I would like to see Tommy Tremble back. But I also think, respectfully, we can do better than the Tommy Tremble. So allowing these guys to test the market is the right move. So I'm okay with this. I'm absolutely okay with trying to get better in those positions, especially tight end and safety.
We found out that, and I say we found out, we knew Xavier had to get some work done. We knew it. He said it during the end of the regular season. He did have a surgery. Dave Canales said he does not know if he's going to be back and available for OTAs coming up here. We're 58 days, I think, away from the draft, and then OTAs start just a couple of weeks after that. The only thing I've been saying, Rashad, I don't know where you land on it, chill the hell out. Like, he needed it. He needed it. I think you could see that it was starting to drag on him a little bit towards the end of the season. You got to go find a number one somewhere. But even if you do, I still want XL fully healthy. Like, relax. Let my man have a minute to rehab and get right. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. I think people got to pump the brakes on XL. It is year one for him. And so we gotta pump the brakes. I know people are going out and they're seeing other rookies be successful, and they're like, "Hey, we're stuck with this guy who's often banged up, can't catch the football." But it is year one. It's year one. Give him a little bit of a break. Now, one thing I will say is that where he did get surgery on was his foot. That's not the wrist, right? The wrist was what all the talk was about throughout the entire season, which was impacting his ability to catch the football, allegedly, right? And so, what's going on with him, we don't know. But hopefully he got the surgery, and hopefully it'll get better, and we'll see him in OTAs and mini camps and all that stuff, and he'll continue to get better throughout the season.
Rashad Beard from the Panther Nation podcast joining us here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. I don't want to bring it up, but I got to. What the hell's your boy Steve Smith Sr. doing? What are we doing, Steve? What are we doing?
None of my business, man. I stay out of players' personal business, bro. As much as I would like to talk about it, I kind of stay out of that lane. This ain't TMZ, bro. I don't get in those woods.
I respect it. We do, but I respect you not doing it. That's the right play. Right play. What's going to be the pick? What's going to be the pick? Call it now. Put it on the radar now. Rashad Beard with the 8th pick, the Carolina Panthers select.
I got to, as of right now, and I reserve the right to change my mind, but I'm going Jalen Walker. I'm going Jalen Walker, the guy that is from the Carolinas. That's where I'm sticking with, and he's not going to perform at the combine, so that kind of sucks. He's sitting that one out, and I respect it. After speaking with the agent, I did have the opportunity to interview an NFL agent with Wasserman and with Wasserman Group, and that's one of the things that did come up is advising their clients to say, hey man, hey listen, we're good. We don't have to go out there and perform at the combine, and I think that is also one of the check marks in my box to say, hey, the Carolina Panthers are looking at Walker. He's already got it. They've already made the calls. These things are already in the bag. We already know where he's going. There's no need to go out there and run hard and exert too much energy because I already got the call. So that's where I'm rocking with right now, Jalen Walker.
I'm so tired of fans beating up on players who say I'm not working out at the combine. But if you're a top 10 pick, working out at the combine can't help you. Right? Like, we've got the tape. We saw you play in college ball. Y'all got to lay off top 10 picks who don't want to work out. I would rather watch the cone shuttle drill of a dude my team's thinking about in the 6th round than the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's a business decision. Those guys, some of those guys don't have to. And the good thing about the combine is that this is the opportunity for other guys, like you said, these guys that play at smaller schools to get up there and compete on the same level as these big time school guys. And so you'll see some guys that will increase their draft stock in the combine. And that's the dope part about it. And that's what I'm looking for in the combine, not the top 10 guys. They're already done. They're good. They know where they're going to go. We don't need to see them. It's the other guys I'm worried about.
Cannot wait to go home today and watch a bunch of college dudes run drills. It's going to be one of the best days of the year. Rashad Beard hosts the Panther Nation podcast. It ain't TMZ, baby. They're talking ball every single day on the show. My man, appreciate you as always, big fella. Enjoy the combine.
Hey, man, appreciate that. Yes, it's draft season. Let's get it. I'm excited.
I'm here for it. Rashad Beard, legend. Follow him on X at Panther Nation PC. More importantly, hit up the YouTube channel. Make sure you are liked up, subscribed up, hit the bell, because I suspect the boys are going to be going live a lot over the next couple of weeks.
For sure. A lot of content coming.
My guy, Rashad Beard. Now, my guy, Lonzo, with a sports flash.
Ain't your guy? My own guy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Guy.
Okay.
Hey, guy. I'm not your guy.
Sure, whatever.
The Clemson Tiger basketball team will retain their position inside the top 15 with an 83-68 win over Notre Dame last night. Clemson was led by Ian Shefflin's 24 points and 9 boards, and Victor Locken's 18 and 5. Jake Heidbreder, that's what I'm going with, added 14 off the bench. I can't ask Rob because there's no way he can pronounce it. Clemson is on a 5-game win streak with 3 games remaining at the regular season and is 1 game back of Duke with the tiebreaker in hand. Day after Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter stated he wouldn't work out at the draft, a report surfaced saying the potential top 5 pick could need surgery on a stress fracture in his foot, so he's not going to work out at the draft. At the combine. Tune in Saturday at 1:30 as Furman Paladins take on the Wofford Terriers. It's Furman